The 2020 Residential Solar Project of the Year, as voted by the readers of Solar Builder, is the Villa Residence and Home Brewery located in Arvada, Colorado. It belongs to Keith and Jodi Villa, co-owners of Donovan Brewing. Keith is also the creator of Blue Moon, so this isn't just any home brewing setup, and it required an elaborate PV design to meet its needs. Here to tell us more is Stephen Bures, Chief of System Design and Technical Sales at Ecology Solar. Hey, thanks for joining me, Stephen, and congrats on winning the Residential Project of the Year for 2020.
Thank you.
And thanks for joining me on video, calling in. We're just going to make it work. And that's kind of the spirit of this project, I feel like, just kind of like making it work, right?
Yeah.
So I can't wait to get into this. So clearly Ecology knows the solar builder audience well, though, because this is a project focused on beer for one thing. So that gave it an edge. But
sure.
So you have a client that needs a decent sized system, but doesn't have the roof space on their home, and the barn where the home brewery is located the roof is not structurally sound. And it sounds like they kind of shopped around for the right installer for a little bit. So did you know going into this that you were going to have to come up with something wacky or?
Not at first. No, it was a process that it was a lot of possibility thinking, I think, too, between us and the customer, between me and the sales guy and the customer, and what can we do? What do we want to do?
So then walk me through how we ended up there and why we got there.
Well, like you said, we discovered the structure of the roof wasn't going to be able to handle the loads that were expected. So our first go-to other option was to do something on the ground, do a ground mount. And they were amenable to that, but they wanted it to be a low profile so that it wasn't as visible. We looked at what we could do on the ground with low profile racking, and it wasn't really enough. It wasn't what they wanted. They wanted more, to cover their usage. So I think it almost actually started as not a joke, but it wasn't necessarily serious at first. Like, hey, what about the wall? Because there's good exposure there. And then we said, oh, maybe we could, lean the ground mount up against the wall and da. But that wasn't a clean enough look. So really, just from talking to the customer, we came to that conclusion. Like, well, what if we just do it vertically with the wall? And so it went from there. So we were either going to have to build a separate structure, almost like a fence, or, use what was there. And we looked at what was there and it was going to work. And so we got creative and figured out how to do that.
Had you done something like that before? Any sort of vertical installation?
No, but to be honest, I had seen something like that before, with some building integrated stuff. So, I felt like, yeah, there's some possibilities there. It is possible, maybe a little bit more expense, a little bit more time and labor involved, but with the right customer, they just happened to be the right customer. And so they were agreeable to all of that. It was enough to get to offset most of their energy use there in the brewery.
Well,
so,
hey,
and there's no snow collecting on them either. So
yeah, right.
That.
Yeah, right. Yeah, good point. So then the actual installation, how did you, I guess, figure out how you wanted to attach it on the wall? And did that end up being a problem since it was kind of like a new thing for you to have to figure out how to do it?
It wasn't too much trouble once we got started. Once that initial kernel was there, that idea, it was just, what do we have available to work with? And how can we make that work? And actually, that was a process that went on from that initial idea to drawing it up, getting the engineering on it, drawing up all the plans, getting it through permitting, all the way to building it on site. We were still kind of running into some difficulties that we had to figure out on some obstructions and stuff. And so we were still doing a little bit of engineering on site. The ground mount went really quick. That was Aerocompact on the ground. And that was the first time we had used that.
The permitting, I kind of glossed over that fact. Was that,
It went surprisingly well. The permitting office was more concerned about how much square footage we were covering on the ground relative to the property than they were about the wall.
And then the finish on the ground looked really cool. I don't know, did you guys have anything to do with that, or is that all just the homeowner afterwards, like touching it up?
No, that was us. We went through, laid down some landscape fabric, put the gravel down, set the array mounts down and the panels on top of that. And then at the end, we built that fence around it.
So I'm just curious, after you came up with that, is this something you're going to like showcase to other people, or is this kind of like you hope that no one even sees this video and you don't have to like do this ever again?
Oh, that's funny. No, I think we like to showcase that. We're all proud of that. I don't know that that's something that we would get involved with every day. If we had a string of the right customers in the right scenario, yeah, we probably would. I mean, it was great. I got to say, too, that this project is not just me or Ecology Solar even, it was our collective group that sort of came up with this. So it was, me, the install guys, the sales guy, the customers, all of us together brainstormed this and made this happen. So it was just sort of the perfect scenario.
Thanks for taking the time. I mean, this is just an awesome example of getting creative to meet a customer's needs, and like you said, a collaborative effort, which is also really cool. So it's I'm definitely glad the readers felt the same way and that it took home the award this year. So thanks again for taking the time, Stephen.
Yeah, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
What's he brewing in there? Do you know? What did you get to taste anything?
Well, they have a few different beers, and not all of them are like this, but some of them are infused with marijuana, and so they can only sell those at the cannabis shops and stuff. So
wow, now that's a great home. What a Colorado success story that project is.
I know, it's not just beer, right? Take it up a notch.
Yeah. Oh man, that's great.